welcome to Karma on Deck. I'm Karma, and I have my partner here, Irv Da God, with me, a very close friend of mine.
Hello, everybody.
We decided that some of the conversations that we were having lately needed to be put down and shared because there's a lot of shift happening.
A lot of shifts.
Shifts happening.
A lot
you
of
know
shifts.
what I mean? So we're just going to have a little breakout talk and let us guide it where it needs to go. I'm Karma. I'm a psychic. For those of you that are on my channel, you know me very well. I'm an intuitive reader. I use tarot and channeling, astrology. And
She's good at it too.
he was a client of mine, actually popped in the shop, and my little subconscious was screaming. I'm like, hey, I have a message. And then I think that was it. A couple of years now. And so
we connected on that level, yes. I was in a time of need and she gave me a great message from, the higher above.
That was pretty cool too, because I wasn't paying attention to him. He was talking to my boss and I was messing on my phone, and he was talking about his problem, and I go back to my desk just to get out of, polite, give him his space for his conversation, and it kept bugging me, and I'm flipping some cards like, don't worry about it.
It was great.
And it did end up flowing, just kind of went out of his purview and didn't become a problem at all. And
that was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So I would hazard to say we are completely different people than when we met each other.
Yeah.
You don't dress the same, speak the same, present yourself the same. You're not coming up with...
Pause.
And I wouldn't say you dress completely different, but I feel like you're paying attention to what you're wearing differently in a different way. You didn't wear your head wrap as much then?
No. Yeah.
Like at all?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And I think you wear much more protections than you had before. And
You gotta cover your head, your crown. Your crown chakra is the most important part of your body, besides your heart.
True.
Besides your heart.
Oh, I'm learning so many things. So I don't think I would have consciously said, if we'd have had a conversation 2 years ago and you had told me I'd be doing ayahuasca, I'd have been like, I'm not playing with that shit. Have you lost your mind? And here we are. And hands down, one of the most holy experiences I've ever had. And it's all in synchronicity with stuff you've been talking about anyways.
Stuff I just learned throughout the years, maybe a 2-year period. We all had our spiritual guidance throughout our life, but just going into more spiritual shops, meeting good people, and having experiences in this journey, it just led me what the world has to do in ayahuasca.
And even, well, actually, I think, let's go back to the most important connection. I want to say maybe February. Was it before summer? It was February, because my own Babalawo came to me that I work for.
Oh, yeah.
And I had visions of the Yoruban religion and culture.
Yes.
And the morning that I woke up, I kept hearing this word, meferefun. And my client walks in and she's saying it out her mouth. I'm like, tell me that. Then he walks in and he goes, hey, I was told to come see you today. And I'm like, let me guess, Babalawo, Yoruban? Yes. So we just started discussing that, and that's when I discovered I was called by Ogun. Actually 4 years ago. And, my medal and my grandfather's switch keys that were mailed to me but didn't arrive until after the said vision. Like in the mail that day comes a brass key, Ogun, horseshoes from my grandfather, and just started seeing all these connections where I'd been led all along, but my eyes weren't open, you know what I mean? So the signs were there, but my awareness wasn't. So he's been graciously and lovingly guiding me and helping me when I have questions and problems and ideas that I don't understand, helping me to, dial them in a little bit.
We all have the signs around us. She wasn't familiar with the Yoruba lineages, where basically we have what we call orishas, same thing as the 7 chakras. You could also say they are connected to the planets as well. And some of her orishas that was trying to talk to her were Elegba, which represents the keys, and Ogun, which represents the iron and the metal that is around us. We all have forces of nature that keeps us, in tune and in sync with the things that are, happening within our life, but people are not, every day utilizing these tools or actually seeing, past, the third dimension and seeing these, these signs. So she had the signs in front of her. I just gave her a little bit of the information and just downloaded a little bit of what we call data into her so she could recognize it. But yeah, the journey's been great for us.
You were picking up the missing pieces, because I had most of them, or I would describe what I was seeing, like even how I organized my altar, and even woke up the next day, and I'm looking on my Facebook, and I was put in this, it's called Sister Witches of All Colors, but they were all Yoruban. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, Yoruba. Yes.
So, and they have pictures of their altars and their workings and stuff, and I'm like, I look at my altar and I'm like, yep, I'm doing that right. Or I would say, why does hers feel off? And she's like, I removed some elements because I don't want to post those things. So it's like, it's just the nails on a chalkboard when something's not right, and a wind tunnel flowing through me when it's right. So I don't have to ask anybody if something's right or wrong, or my body will show me, my spirit will show me.
Conscience, what is your conscience, your spirit guide, anything that's something that's inside that you feel, when you have most people have alter egos, or they have a third party in their head talking. You have to decide on, which, voices in your head are actually the correct ones. We all have spirit guides, but you gotta understand, we also, it's like channeling. We intercept things that, that are not good for us. So when you're aligned and your chakras are basically, well fed or well kept up, you can kind of make better decisions upon the choices that you have in life. Life is all about choices, so they say. It's about experience. So when you're in tune and you're working with the chakras and orishas or spirit guides or whatever you want to call it, it's better to be as pure as you could be, have a clear head, drink a lot of water, and just get because we're going into new days and age now. 2020 is going to be something.
David Palmer said, love is alkalizing.
Alkalizing, yeah.
And he said the earth is alkalizing, and it is. Even people that aren't choosing it, they're seeing it.
Remember, water has no enemy, and a lot of people don't use water to the best ability. You have to drink a lot of water to be more purified. Our body is made up of a lot of water. This earth is made up of a lot of water. So if you're trying to get to your next level, to a high destination within yourself, because I come from a low frequency neighborhood. I grew up in the project. I grew up with no education of spirituality whatsoever. Just a praying mother. But
I didn't even have that.
Yeah, but
I was living like Sons of Anarchy. My family was all bikers.
We all got our journey. Everybody.
Yeah, and I always think, there's times where I think to myself, why me? But when you talk about water, it's not just that. It's like, and people say, you hear those little memes and phrases where people are like, watch who you bring into your energy, but that's straight up truth. Because what's true is you have other stewardship too. And I've kind of really learned body as a temple, because I did have to obey the requirements to get clean for ayahuasca. The cleaner the vessel, the better the message, the cleaner the message. And you fasted, and I mean, it's sexual fasting, so you go without contact unless you're in a really pure and connected, committed one-on-one relationship.
Karmic sex.
However, that is still, they ask you to detach and be all about that. And no meat, dairy products, spices, salt, alcohol, marijuana, caffeine. And like the last 3 days I fasted entirely. And then me fucking around, turned around and went to get juice and had some wheatgrass juice. Purged it anyways. So I was asked to fast, and even when I messed up a little bit and I was doing great, So it is a lot. It's a lot. Like if you want to live that way, it's a lot. I didn't really choose it. You know how they say if you want to decalcify the pineal gland, you eat clean. Well, the 2 years that I had left EMS to go work as a psychic, I was using my third eye all the time. And anytime that I ate something unhealthy, especially like meat and grease, processed foods, I was purging it right away. And so I wasn't eating for months on end. And when I was finally put 2 and 2 together and cleaned up my diet, my appetite came roaring back. But it's true. And I'm like the absolute like myth buster, because like I said, I'm very Capricorn 3D paramedic, cause and effect. And so I am like the epitome of cause and effect. Well, I was using my pineal gland, therefore I have to eat clean because it was rejecting any fuel it was not. And obviously these things that I'm seeing, it's proof that it's true, because if you look at my Facebook, I can see the images that I'm now posting that I already saw, but they're already in 3D and I'm finding them, but I never saw them before or recognized them.
There's levels to this, like I said. It's certain things. When you're more in tune, you can see things that that are in front of you, but you might see it more clear. Sometimes people have the messages right in front of them and they're not paying attention. You're distracted. You know, you have many distractions. You have, you know, negative people around. You have bad food, you know, that you're putting in your bodies. You know, and you're constantly thinking things that are not helping you grow. So, and you know, throughout these years, you know, everything in life is, like I said, is an experience. Throughout, you know, we have time periods in our life where, you know, life cycles where we go through things, and you know, we have challenges, either roadblocks, or we have, you know, sicknesses in the family, you know, unknown deaths. You know, these are the things that are in life that prevent us from actually growing to our higher self. We're looking at the negative point, and we have to, you know, think past that, understand that life is about growing, achieving, descending to your higher self, and just basically having fun. You know, you gotta have fun, you gotta enjoy it. You know, people are you know, it's
suffer mentality.
Yeah, suffering. No suffering.
Martyrs mentality.
Yeah. That the world is against me, and that I don't have anything, and nobody wants me, nobody loves me. You know, these are the thoughts that come into people's heads when they're not at a high frequency. You know, we should love ourselves. You know, you should love yourself first and foremost. You know, that's where it comes from. Being pure to your heart, being pure to your body, and loving yourself is a start. You know, and then everything else can come after that. You can take care of, you know, extended family, immediate family, you know, the people that's, you know, around you that you love, you know, but it all starts from the inner self, from self. You know, when people learn how to grow, and when people are growing, you know, it's just taking the time to look at yourself and say, what can I do to make myself better? And that's what, you know.
And you can't serve from an empty cup. I keep telling people all that time. One of my favorite coaching topics is the power of no. Like, I'll tell people, say no to everything. I don't care how bad you want that Starbucks. I don't care how bad you want to go to that movie.
No.
Practice saying no without quantifying it. Yeah. So, no, I'm broke. No, I'm tired. No, whatever excuse. Just, you have to learn to be comfortable with, no, thank you. Go ahead without me. Have a good lunch.
We don't need anything. We just need to, you know.
Just practice.
Take care of ourselves.
You know, and then like, doing that, you don't, when you start learning how to say no to shit you don't want to do, you begin to understand that you're protecting your space, and it's a gift to yourself,
your energy,
because you'll resent time that you've given away that you don't really want to give, and it's not a pure gift in that way, because you're giving yourself a gift by saying no.
Time is precious and valuable. You know, people who say there's no time don't exist, it exists, and you know, it does exist. You know, so use time wisely. You know, make sure you know, if you don't have anything to do, create a schedule. You know, create something that's worthwhile doing, and you know, travel. You know, there's nothing wrong with traveling. If you know, it's something not working for you in a certain area,
Miami,
just move around.
You're not
a
tree.
Yeah, you're not stuck. You're not
That's
playing.
why you got teeth.
You're not in jail. You're not, you know, you're not handicapped. You know, there are a lot of different things in this life that can keep us motivated, and make sure, you know, you just have the self-endurance to do so. You know, love thyself. You know.
And one of the driving things that I took away from ayahuasca is when you're going through the process, there's moments where you can feel the vibration shift, and you feel like you're going to go into another vision or a message or some purge, some go deep. And you can, and we always go zing, that's my zing thing lately. You keep seeing me go zing, like a new awareness. But I could literally like feel it, and I remember they were saying ahead of time, like, when you start to feel like you panic, you know, oh, here goes the roller coaster, you know, zing, and you sit there and you panic a little bit, like, oh my, what's going to happen next? And they tell you, come from breath, so center yourself, and then come from gratitude, because when those moments were starting to hit, and I started to lose myself a little bit, I went to that message of, oh my God, I'm in ayahuasca, and she's about to show me something else, and I was like, thank you, and then wham, this wave started coming, Yemaya came. Oh, because and of course I'm going to the ocean. So I was like, and I felt bad because my divine feminine wasn't showing up. All the masculine was showing up, but I needed protection at the time, so awareness. But while he was chanting, it kept coming out of my mouth, and then I started seeing the ocean and then the serpents and the Kundalini serpents, and I was like, oh, she's reminding me that I'm coming to her now, to the ocean, because I'm in a desert. So maybe that's why she was waiting for my go date, which is like Monday. But I was literally very humbled by that, because I felt like I hadn't aligned my divine feminine. I wanted to go and look and see what I need to correct to invite and create that space. And they come when they're ready. I'm excited to see what, I mean, because my house opens onto the beach. So I'm very excited. And when we do ayahuasca in December, I'm very excited to be able to, first thing, you know, lay in my gifts. However, I'm very excited to see when we do the retreat in December. how that unfolds, because the group that's coming together is going to be beautiful.
For those people that don't know, there's a trip going to Peru
In November and December.
And in December. You know, they have ayahuasca retreat where everyone comes together, you know, and we do a lot of meditation. You know, some ayahuasca is involved, and it's just an experience, a journey within yourself, you know. And if anybody wants to hear more about it, make sure you email the email that's connected to the YouTube. And also, for the people that don't know about Yemoja, you know, you can Google Yemoja, or Yemoya. She's actually the water deity, the mother of all fishes, all living things in the ocean, and you know, she can do a lot of wonders and beautiful things if she comes to you. You know, yeah. So I'm a Yemoja baby, and you know, when Yemoja first came to me, the experience was, you know, beautiful. You know, a lot of us need nurturing in our life. You know, she's one of the head nurturers. You know, part of the Ajay Yami. You know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you know, you can go to my page, the Uriba page. We consult on many different things with the Orishas, you know, life patterns, numerology, you know, and you know, karma. You know, you can hit her anytime on the emails, and she's gonna answer any questions for you guys, because you know, this isn't about just learning, our journey, you know, becoming one, and open up the people's minds to better living, and not also worried about so much materialistic things, you know.
On that note,
you know, not so much.
So, as a Capricorn, and having been a paramedic, my life has always been very 3D. You know, time structure, medication, functions of the body, crisis. And here's what's interesting. As a Capricorn, I am very restless if I'm not physically moving or having some activity or a project. Even my downtime is me cooking. I'll spend 2 hours, something that would take me 30 minutes to cook, but just so I can enjoy moving my body and letting my mind go loose. But what was I saying?
You was a Capricorn.
Yeah, and so here's what's cool, is I am more untethered than I've ever been, and my structure is very different, but I have 100 times more abundance.
Yeah.
I'm talking food, housing, income, energy, companionship. And when and it's a very different vibe. People that are in the 9 to 5 don't understand the liberty that you have, and when you take time to meditate and collaborate and like subtract yourself from the schedule to add certain elements, you know, like doing my ayahuasca took away from some production time. But I will tell you this, more is coming faster. And here's what's interesting. I have 10 times the house coming to me than I could have ever imagined within the structure and finance of where I was at. But it's not lonely at the top. The people at the top want more of us to do this together because we can get more done together. So that's a fallacy. And well, another awareness that came to me was anytime somebody's trying to make you afraid of knowledge, there's more power behind the screen, Oz, you know, than I expect. So now I'm diving into deeper stuff too. But I will say abundance too. Like, yeah, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. No fear.
No
fear.
Like, find the magic underneath the story, the smoke screen, you know?
Yeah, look beneath. Look on, you know. How many times did you look under the bed to see if there was just a little monster under there? Like, sometimes there's little things hidden inside that you gotta find, you know? And you just gotta go deep within, you know?
That's a good analogy.
It's all in there. Yeah.
Monster under the bed. Turn the light on.
Yeah, people are curious. They always feel like it's something there, you know? What's there? Something in the closet or something, you know? But, you know, in reality, we just have to, you know, be very conscious nowadays and live up to the best we can be. You know, don't worship what you see on TV. Don't idolize the things you see on the internet. Just look at yourself, you know. Try to take an hour of the day to stare at yourself in the mirror if you can, and you'll recognize who you are or who you want to be or who you want to become. Because every day we're evolving. Every day we're climbing up to be something. Take one day at a time. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Live for now. Live for this moment, for this second. You know, because tomorrow, the next second might not be promised. So every day that you're working, work towards something greater.
And the other thing, greatest awareness is trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
Because the more you look outward for answers, like for someone else, like if I were to ask you to do something, you would give me an opinion based on your experience, which then you know, that's other people, how dogma happens, you know, how cultures and religions occur, is because that was what worked for me. But you don't have all the data. You don't have, first of all, you're not a woman. So there's components you would never understand where my drive is. But I will tell you something else, like going deep, going into ayahuasca and sitting there. I just kept saying, I trust myself. There's nothing within me that can harm me.
Yeah.
So there is no more perfect place than within. That's a holy place. You understand, coming from that standpoint, what it means to say, my body is a temple. I am the temple.
I am the temple. I am the tree. I usually, I'm a moving tree. That's what I usually say. I produce nutrients. You know, I have leaves growing out of me. The leaves is the money.
Healing.
You know,
I want that.
The leaves is the money. You know, and every time I go next to a tree, I always see ants moving and working. You know, and
your little team.
That's the little team that I'm thinking about. Like, you know, we got to keep building, because if you look at ants, they got patterns. They got structure.
And they can move so much more weight than they can carry.
Exactly.
Just through mechanics.
So always look at the ant as a reference to, you know, human's life, you know, and just try to, you know, endure the things that are to appreciate, you know, to endure the things that you can appreciate, you know, and we was talking about gratitude earlier. A lot of you people and everyone in this world, I feel like, needs to have more gratitude towards things, because, you know,
definitely a missing component. And that's
we don't have anything.
That's scarcity-based consciousness too.
Yeah.
Like, the more you hold on to a fistful of sand, the faster it slips through your fingers. Yeah. But if you can cup it gently and enjoy it, you know,
it's a beautiful feeling. Gratitude.
Well, thank you for sharing your afternoon with me.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I had a great time on the show.
I look forward to playing with this a little more podcasts going forward. And thank you. So I will leave some links for you guys. Those of you that know me, karmaondeck.com. You can find me. If you have any data you'd like to leave, we'll put that in the links too.
Just Google me, Irv Da God. My Yoruba name is Isetifa. You could just, I could definitely show you more about the Yoruba and self-endurance. Yeah. But thank you. Appreciate it. That was great.
Miami. Thank you. Love and light.